Hey y'all, welcome back to Mountain Murders. I'm Heather.
And I'm a moisturized Dylan.
Hey, you.
Oh my gosh, I realized I was completely ashy from head to toe the other day.
You like Ashy Larry up in here.
Oh my gosh, it was terrible. I had to when you were not in the room, I stood in the living room fully nude, right? Full disclosure.
How else is that different from any other day?
No, and I lotioned my entire body. My entire body.
Wow, what a visual.
Yeah.
Our listeners needed that, Dylan.
It was a necessity.
They needed it to get through the weekends.
Because my skin was dry. All right, so here we are in the Mountain Murder Studio on this beautiful, beautiful spring day.
What is contributing to your ashy skin? Is it the weather? You think it's the weather?
Yeah, well, I work out in the elements.
In the elements?
Yeah, it's been cold. Breezes and winds, cold winds.
But don't you wrap up like a little package of Tenderloin?
Yeah, I put my suit of armor on.
Yeah.
My multiple layers of
So
fuzzy
you're saying
clothes.
all the layers are making you ashy?
Yes.
This is drying out your little fragile skin?
I guess maybe my skin's getting old too.
Oh, gosh. Well, we're not exactly young anymore.
No, but so here we are. The sun is shining. The Mountain Murders is happening.
You know, I was thinking about something, Dylan, and then we'll get into today's show. I don't know why this hit me the other day, but, I guess because we are getting older, and that's on my mind a lot. I'm having a hard time reconciling that I'm not 20 anymore and that my body hurts.
Right.
Like, for no reason. Like, I just wake up and I'm like, how'd I pull something in my sleep? Ow.
Yeah, sleep injuries are very scary.
Yeah, all the time. Like, I, have to stretch before I can, tie my shoes. When you're younger, I was like, I went to the yarn store yesterday. It's going out of, I know, you make fun of me.
Well, that's not something you typically do in your youth. I'm not saying people don't knit in their youth, but I mean,
Yeah, I know. Yesterday, I went to the craft store, I will not name, that is going out of business. They had all of their yarn marked down. So, of course, I went to stock up on some yarn. So I buy like 2 or 3 bags full of yarn.
So you found some good savings.
I did get some good savings. I have yarn for days. Like, I'm not going to need to buy yarn probably for like the next year. It's all stocked up. So I got all my yarn. And then I went to the used bookstore.
Wow.
And I was like, these are like old people activities, right? And then I started thinking about hobbies. And I'm like, what were my hobbies when I was young? You know what? I didn't really have any. I mean, I think about being in my early 20s and I'm like, my hobby was just like hanging out with my friends. Like sitting around a dorm room, listening to music and like cutting up and acting stupid.
Yeah.
But I didn't really have hobbies. I mean, when I was younger, I'm like, I didn't really have hobbies. I don't feel like I had hobbies or things I really dedicated my time to. Like, oh, this is my hobby. This is what I'm really into. But as you get older, I feel like maybe you get more hobbies.
No, I think that's a good point you're making because it's almost like whatever other things you were doing to fill your time because you were doing something,
Yeah,
likely.
absolutely.
Those things kind of start maybe changing or being way less, going away, if you will.
Right. Not going out as much, not really just hanging out with friends, kind of willy-nilly, where's the day take you kind of thing. Yeah, so I kind of thought that was interesting. But then, I mean, maybe there are young people with hobbies, but I guess I just don't feel like I had a lot of like hobbies when I was younger. But as I got older, I started getting into things like having hobbies, being like really into something,
Yeah. Well, you got to find some way to fill your time, right?
Now, we have a podcast.
Yes.
Fills lots of my time. And I apologize. We have been a little late. I've had midterms this past week, so that has kept me busy.
He was doing all kinds of studying. She was worried about making her good grades. And I think she did a good job, but here we are. We are back.
We are back in the saddle, Dylan, and it's time to talk true crime. You had a hot take as we were getting geared up, to sit down here in the studio and get into today's episode. You were like, I have a hot take. And I said, Dylan, you need to share that hot take with our listeners.
I think this is a sizzling hot take.
Okay. Do you think there will be people who disagree with you?
Well, yeah, and that's okay. That's okay. And I share this opinion, not in any mean-spirited way or anything like that. It's just something I think it's pretty true.
It's like an observation you've made.
It's an observation. I've been putting this together in my mind for a very long time. And I recently watched one of the new docs out about the Gabby Petito story and the Brian Landry thing. And I think it's official after seeing a good bit of video of them on that and her. I have an opinion.
The Netflix doc is actually called American Murder, Gabby Petito.
Boom.
Okay.
That is indeed the doc I was watching.
So after watching American Murder, Gabby Petito, what's your hot take? Because I didn't watch this with you. I saw just a few minutes and had other things to do.
It's solidified what I already thought. And again, I hope this isn't too offensive to people. What I think is it was two willing participants in a toxic relationship that had some bad, unhealthy qualities to it. And one of them, during one of their many arguments and fights, it seemed that they both got physical with each other at times, went too far and killed, went too far. Something happened, killed Gabby. Brian killed Gabby. And then he couldn't live with himself because he really did love her. They just happened to be in a toxic relationship. And then he, in turn, killed himself because he couldn't live with what he did, having gone too far. Yeah. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I think it makes sense. Obviously, I don't condone what he did.
Well,
I
I'm
mean,
not saying he should have killed her.
But,
obviously.
I think oftentimes people find themselves in these relationships that turn physical. And there's a lot of aggression and violence and, domestic assault. And, I think we have it in our mind that there's typically one perpetrator of, in the relationship.
Right.
But I think oftentimes we fail to recognize that sometimes both parties are participating and are like it's not just like the one person, it's both people engaging in it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've known couples who have these kinds of relationships and it's not just like the guy who's it's like they're both doing it. They're both toxic and they don't need to be together and they keep perpetuating violence against each other. But I think as a society, we often want to blame one person when sometimes it can be both parties.
And honestly, there is no real evidence of what I'm saying. It's just a feeling I get. And obviously I could be completely wrong about some of the conclusions that I've drawn. But
well, no, because there's the video where they were arrested or they were pulled over. They weren't arrested, but they were pulled over in Utah. And didn't he she had some marking, but didn't he have scratches?
Yeah, and then the cops behind him, he's like, "Oh God, he hit the curb," and they, gets him pulled over, and she's like, "I was, distracting him while he was driving." It sounds like they were getting physical with each other while they're, he's literally driving down the road, and yeah, I don't know, it's a sad situation.
I mean, it's very sad. And I hate that this young woman lost her life. It was it was so senseless. But I also, I'm not making excuses, but I just think that, people who are in these kinds of relationships, they're very toxic. They don't work. They're never going to work. And when it gets to that point where you're both engaging in physical violence against each other, and that becomes a routine or part of your relationship that happens, more often than not, or just ever, it's probably time to throw in the towel.
Yeah, and then I think they ended up on the road. There was really, you're at that point, you're surrounded by strangers. People don't really know you. You're not around friends and family. And I think that certainly didn't help their situation or their relationship any. No one there to kind of check them. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Love sucks, and it hurts to end a relationship. We've all been there. We've all been heartbroken before, I'm sure. But sometimes, man, even if you're like, this sucks and what, you're going to meet someone else. Life goes on. Don't be in this relationship.
Right.
You got to be strong enough to walk away from a situation that's not good for you and be mature enough to realize this isn't working. And it's just hard. I mean, I get that it's hard for a lot of people to walk away.
It's true.
So, interesting take, Dylan.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome.
As much as I don't want to talk about this biatch.
Oh my God.
I think it's important we talk about this biatch.
Are we going to talk about her?
Fuck, I hate her.
God, is it the one I think it is?
Yeah. It's like the demon who lives in your butthole. Casey Anthony.
Oh, I thought you was talking about Lori Vallow.
Well, no, we can talk about Lori too, but fucking bitch, Casey Anthony, who was acquitted in the 2008 murder of her 2-year-old daughter and is the devil, and is labeled one of the most hated women in America for good reason, has joined TikTok and Substack, rebranding herself as a legal advocate, Dylan.
Yeah, I actually heard the audio of her kind of reintroducing herself to America. And you know what? Fuck her.
Yeah, I'm a skis ball. I murdered my kid. I'm trying to monetize.
Yeah,
I hate
and
her.
I will only take, she's claiming to be a victim's advocate of sorts to help people, walk through or make their way through the legal system, if you will. And because she had to, because she murdered her kid and got away with it, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah, she's a big old hussy. Well, in her first TikTok, which, by the way, has over 4.1 million views, which, who is watching her? Like, who is purposefully, if you're following her, like, there's something wrong with you. We should not give this woman a platform.
No,
I want her to join TikTok and have no followers.
I agree with that, but I got to think that a lot of that is people that hate her and just want to see it with their own eyes.
Well, the best part is, Dylan, she has all of her comments turned off, so you can't tell her that she's a fucking bitch.
Or that she's a child murderer.
Yeah, none of that. But yeah, she wants to help people. She wants to give a voice to people and give them tools and resources that they can utilize. And she encourages people to subscribe to her Substack, which is a platform where creators send out newsletters. And again, comments on the video are disabled, but it has been shared over 64,000 times. And it seems most of social media is skeptical, to put it mildly. One person, and this is a great comment, Dylan, said Casey Anthony rebranding herself as a legal advocate is like Jeffrey Dahmer opening a steakhouse.
No, there you go. That nails it.
But here she is, back in the public eye. People are not happy with this. And though, anybody really is able to join social media, people just don't seem to want Casey Anthony on TikTok.
Dude, it's like, yeah, welcome to my new business venture, Susan Smith's Daycare Center. I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Give me a break.
Yeah, no. Let's hire John Wayne Gacy to be our kid's birthday clown again.
Yeah, he's a children's advocate.
Yeah. Dylan, this is another strange story that's been in the news. And I mean, it's possible this person had an accident or maybe intentionally jumped, but anytime we have a story with a cruise ship and someone falls over the edge of the ship or something, I always find it questionable, because really, it's, if you wanted to murder someone by pushing them over the side of the boat, you could totally do it.
Yeah, well, for one, I don't know why there isn't CCTV that very specifically captures down the railings. Like, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how it would be designed, but I know there's probably a way. You know what I mean? It seems like that would be something that would be a must on these large cruise ships. And these boats are fucking huge, right?
Right.
So, I mean, you have to go. It's not like I don't know. I know you could be over there monkeying around by the railing, or the edge of the ship, which would be really dumb. And there are really dumb people. But yeah, I agree with you. Anytime someone falls off this ship that's like 5 football fields big, right? Or whatever. It seems very suspicious to me.
Why hasn't Casey Anthony fallen off a cruise ship?
That's probably why she doesn't go on cruises.
She would fall off. Yeah. Be pushed away.
Thrown off.
So a popular rock star's girlfriend has died after falling off a cruise ship. This tragedy struck the Royal Caribbean's Adventure of the Seas for its 80s themed cruise this week, which, by the way, Dylan, I want to go on an 80s themed cruise. Why are you not taking me on an 80s themed cruise?
No, I think I could get behind this type of cruise.
Oh man, I want to go. They have like all these bands and, it'd be great. Tiffany was on this fucking cruise. You know how many times I saw him standing there? So many times. Now, a popular rock star's fiance died after falling overboard. She reportedly fell after getting into a heated argument with her significant other. Now, this is the part where I'm like, CNC Music Factory, things that make you go, Dylan.
So they were actually, he admitted they were arguing.
Yes.
Oh.
Tame, I think that's how you say his name, Tame Down, who was a member of Faster Pussycat, the band from the 80s. I know who they are, but I couldn't tell you a single song.
No, I couldn't either.
I'm more of a fan of the Russ Meyer film, Faster Pussycat Kill Kill. Anyway, Kimberly Birch, who was Tame Down's fiance, is the victim here, if you will. The mother of Birch told TMZ that her daughter's body remains missing, though they know she's gone. The rock star reportedly called his would-be mother-in-law on Monday to share the news. So they allegedly were having some sort of fight. He claims that she jumped or accidentally fell from the ship, but her mother is confident that Kimberly wouldn't purposely hurt herself. Kimberly was supposedly drinking on the cruise, something that was completely out of character for her, according to her mother. And her mother also said Kimberly wasn't dealing with any depression or emotional issues and was really excited about this trip that was taking place like out of Miami. Just seems strange. And I'm not saying anything sinister happened here, but
so you're not saying
you have an argument.
Right.
This person was allegedly drinking that doesn't drink, and they decide after this argument to go jump off the side of the cruise ship.
Right.
Okay.
And like you're arguing, but you happen to be over near the railing.
Makes sense. I'm buying it.
And it's a part we're supposed to. The only account of what truly happened is from a person named Tame Down, who's likely
or Tammy. I don't know how you say his name. Tama. I don't know.
Tama Down.
I don't know how you say his name. But.
Oh, well, I mean, hey, what can you do? I mean, maybe she did have some kind of a, I'll show you. I'll jump off this ship and kill myself.
I'll get back at you. I'm going to ruin your 80s cruise. You're not going to get to enjoy Tiffany later. No,
these super large ships have been criticized for not having a really proper protocol for a man overboard. There's supposedly some kind of high-tech system they can put on many of these ships that automatically makes the ship stop, slow down, kind of circle around back to the person's location when they fall off the ship, if you will. It kind of makes a marker of sorts, kills the engines. It does all these things at once that should help the person survive in a situation like this. But, due to the exorbitant costs, a lot of these ships don't install these types of systems. So, yeah. What are you going to do?
Maybe not go on a cruise with you after all.
Well, look, if you fall off one of these huge ships, you either wanted to or someone threw you off. Okay? I mean, that's it. I don't think that it's going to be that many accidents of people falling off these huge ships.
You don't think people are just going to be like, this is fun. Oh, my gosh. Whee! And then they splash, and then they're like, oh, maybe that was a bad idea.
Well, I guess the world's full of dumb people, and some people would go and actually, in this huge area, do shenanigans by the railing, right?
You probably would do
trying to do an
shenanigans by
Instagram picture or something, hanging off try to have just the ocean water under you or something.
Dylan, okay, moving along. We have breaking news.
What do you got?
Sheriff's deputies in Georgia rushed into action when a jailbreak was perpetrated by a, quote, white female suspect. A duck.
What?
The Polk County Sheriff's Office said on social media that a white female was discovered inside the perimeter fence at the Polk County Jail about 7:43 a.m. on Wednesday. The suspect, a duck, attempted to get over the perimeter fence in an attempt to escape capture, according to the Sheriff's Office. Deputies cornered the duck to keep her from being injured by the razor wire on the fence. They said, quote, she could not tell us where she came from or how she got here, but we did notice she had an injured foot. We were able to call for backup, and after a lengthy standoff involving two agencies, we were able to take her into custody.
Oh, gosh.
The Polk County Animal Control assisted with the capture of this jail trespasser.
Oh, my gosh.
The duck, who's been named Bernice, was transported to her new home on Derek Tilley's farm, according to the sheriff.
Bernice? Who came up with that one?
That's a great name for a duck.
You think so?
Yeah, Bernice is a great name for a duck. It's kind of funny, mountain people, like, the way they pronounce, they'll name their kid something, but then it's, like, pronounced in a different way, like country folk.
Right.
Because, like, I know my friend's grandmother's name was, like, Venice, and they called her Venus. And then she had a grandpa named, it was, like, Farrell, but they called him Furl.
Farrell.
But I had a great aunt, and her name, spelled on paper, was Bernice, but they called her Bernice.
Oh, that's the only name that was coming to my head when you started saying this.
Was Bernice?
Bernice.
Have you heard of Bernice before?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because I thought I've never really heard that name before, and I always thought my great aunt had sort of a strange, I was like, why is her name Bernice? What's Bernice? All right, Dylan. This is a very sad story. A rapper named G. Lil Ronnie
Okay.
was murdered. He was shot along with his 5-year-old daughter.
My God.
Yeah. But they finally, I guess, apprehended the suspects. A 21-year-old named Jacoby Russell is the second person cops have announced as a suspect in the shooting death of Ronnie and his 5-year-old. He was arrested Friday for capital murder of multiple persons, along with assault of a pregnant person and assault causing bodily harm. He's being held in Fort Worth, Texas at a correctional center right now. His arrest comes one day after his alleged partner in crime, a 24-year-old named Adonis Robinson, was arrested in Livingston, Texas, which is about 75 miles away from Houston. I mean, that's pretty, terrible to think that you're just out with your child and someone decides to attack you and your kid. I mean, I don't know.
It's some piece of shit, a monster.
They were at a car wash when they were shot by two suspects who just happened to open fire at this Forest Hills, which is a suburb of Dallas. Just opened fire on them at 11 a.m. in the morning while this guy's washing his car. This rapper.
That's terrifying.
They fled in a 4-door white Kia after they approached the victim's vehicle. Yeah, and then this little girl just happened to be with her daddy when these guys approached the vehicle and shot her father. I mean, just so sad.
I just don't know how you live like that you're going to see someone that you have a beef, if you will, or don't like for some reason in public with their kid, and that doesn't stop you from going up and just, opening fire on them. I mean, you have to be insane to do something like that.
Yeah. Dylan, I know you are the biggest Ray Gun fan.
Man, the fact that they're still talking about this woman.
Rachel Gunn, a.k.a. Ray Gunn, who was the infamous Australian Olympic breakdancer. Well, Dylan, her brother is in the news because he has been arrested on suspicion of orchestrating a $100,000 cryptocurrency scheme.
Nice.
The Australian Securities and Investment Commission announced the charges against Brendan Gunn on Wednesday, accusing the brother of the Olympic breakdancer of dealing with, quote, money or other property that were, quote, reasonable to suspect or the proceeds of a crime.
Oh.
So it seems that he somehow got these 4 investment accounts amounting to $181,000. There were 3 victim investors who deposited the funds in this account to convert to cryptocurrency. And then somehow he, I guess, took this money. So yeah.
Well, it sounds like he's in some manner operating what people thought was a crypto exchange. And that would be how you convert to other coins or into fiat currency, dollars. And it sounds like he was just stealing from them. So he sounds like a piece of shit, just like his sister, who messed up breakdancing for everybody, because you'll probably never see it again in the Olympics. I'm sorry, but she did. She really screwed it up, because that was like one thing I probably would have watched in the Olympics.
Well, I'll have you know that Ray Gunn has announced her retirement as of last November. She said this was a result of the upsetting backlash that she received online. And she said, quote, Dylan, I'm not going to dance anymore. No, I still dance and I still break. But that's like in my living room with my partner. It's been really upsetting. I just didn't have any control over how people saw me or who I was.
You couldn't break dance. That's like me retiring from being a neurosurgeon. Today, I'm going to announce my retirement from neurosurgery. Okay. But it turns out I don't know how to do neurosurgery.
So maybe it just seems that fraud runs in this family because
Yeah.
she is a fraudulent breakdancer and then her brother is like a fraudulent cryptocurrency guy.
Dude, they totally rigged the system. I mean, once it all came out, because I was just the whole time like, how did this person make it this far, right? There had to be some kind of at least peer review or a panel or, people in the know to, decide in Australia who's the best of the best. That's what the Olympics are. Breakdancer. And then it comes out that her and her partner were the ones, rigging the system.
You're just upset because you got served.
Dude,
you unknowingly got served.
She has nothing she can serve me, for one. I could battle dance better than her, okay? And just the other day, I saw a clip of her in like a local club there in Australia trying to do her thing, and she like flat out fell on her face or some shit, and people's like, oh, and she just bounces right back. The girl's resilient, one for one. To just get out there.
She's like a kangaroo. That's why she's got that kangaroo hop bop thing that she does.
To have that kind of confidence when you have absolutely...
Man, I would love to have her confidence.
No ability at all, but you can't tell her nothing.
She does not suffer from imposter syndrome. Dylan, we are probably all familiar with the Slenderman case. Correct? Yes.
I am.
Well, Morgan Geyser, who was committed to a Wisconsin psychiatric facility for brutally stabbing her best friend to impress this mythical online creature at the age of 12, is set to be released. Geyser, who is now 22, admitted in 2017 to stabbing Peyton Leutner after luring her into the woods during a sleepover in 2014 in order to appease this mythical internet figure, Slenderman. Geyser's co-defendant, Anissa Ware, who was also convicted of the same crime, was released from the same psychiatric facility back in 2021. And in January, a judge ordered Geyser's release after experts testified that she had made progress during her time at the Oshkosh, Wisconsin facility. The judge said, quote, "She's done what she's supposed to do, and she appears to have a good attitude." Now, despite the judge's confidence in her release, Geyser briefly faced a halt on the decision after the facility hosting her had discovered her jailhouse readings and communication with the men outside the institution. And the reading material that she was so focused on has themes of sexual sadism and murder and the sale of human organs on the black market.
Oh, God.
Now, the district attorney says, quote, "All of these things that the treatment team at Winnebago had no idea that she was so interested in." But despite that, she is going to be released.
Well, I mean, so she promises to not kill anybody for Slenderman anymore, but it sounds like she's got a new creepypasta.
Well, just because she's reading that material doesn't necessarily mean she's going to commit another crime, but someone who seems to suffer from her condition. I believe she has schizophrenia.
Yeah.
And already fell to this mythical fake character. And now she's back reading that kind of stuff. I mean, it just maybe seems like not a good idea. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. I mean, I know people can recover from these types of mental issues and things like that, if they're getting treatment now and they take to the treatment. We always hear about people who refuse the medication or, have problems with the treatment. But, I think there's many out there that actually it changes their life for the better, and they go on to live productive lives. So maybe she'll be one of those.
You think so?
Right.
Okay.
But, hey, I don't think she needs to be reading stuff. She don't need to be into stuff like that. I don't think so, man.
Maybe a condition of her release is she shouldn't have the access to those kinds of materials, or...
Well, I mean, that's almost impossible to police in this day and age, honestly. But, whoever it is communicating with her, they're out of pocket for talking to someone and sharing these types of things with someone who's been through what she's been through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's this person's motives?
Probably not good.
Probably not good.
Probably not a positive motive here, Dylan. We, I believe, discussed this a few weeks ago, that there was a JetBlue pilot who was arrested on his own plane and then freed on bail last month over child sex charges. He killed himself Friday as police closed in for a second arrest.
Oh.
Jeremy Goodorf, 33, shot himself inside his car at a train station in Revere, Massachusetts, as state troopers approached him Friday morning, and this is according to NBC 10 Boston. He was pronounced dead at a local hospital. The encounter took place at the Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority's Wonderland Station. Now that's a mouthful. After the state police's violent fugitive apprehension section, Revere police and U.S. Marshals had been searching for the pilot from Ohio. As they closed in, he revealed a firearm and shot himself.
Well, I guess they wasn't going to take him alive.
He was initially cuffed at Boston's Logan Airport on February 20th after U.S. Customs and Border Protection discovered a warrant for his arrest out of North Carolina on a child sex charge. The pilot had been moments away from taking off for Paris when he was hauled off the aircraft. He's charged in Huntersville, North Carolina on second-degree sexual exploitation of a minor, and he was also charged in the Bay State as a fugitive of justice. So a judge set his bail at $10,000 on the condition he turned himself over to law enforcement in North Carolina, and it's not clear if he ever did that, but he was placed on an indefinite leave from JetBlue after his arrest last month.
Well, yeah, I think that's for the best, right?
Yeah, you don't want someone just flying around the world.
We're not going to let you drive the plane anymore, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strange stuff, Dylan. Now, our last case is out of Mississippi that we're going to be talking about today, and that is a 39-year-old man has been arrested for allegedly beating his parents to death with a cinder block.
Damn.
According to the Pascagoula Police Department, on March 5th, officers went to a home on Krebs Avenue regarding a fight, and they saw Daryl Payne run and barricade himself inside a home. Outside, police reportedly located 2 deceased victims, identified as Payne's father, 86-year-old Harold Payne, and his mother, 72-year-old Jatwan Payne.
Well, that's an interesting name.
Law enforcement attempted to get Payne to exit the home, but they immediately needed to deploy tear gas inside the residence because he refused to surrender. Eventually, he was taken into custody and charged with 2 counts of murder without incident.
Beat them to death with a cinder block. Have you ever heard?
His elderly parents, they're in their 80s. They're defenseless.
Yeah.
Elderly folks. I just don't understand how you could do that.
I don't either. I mean, what a piece of shit. All the things that can happen to your parents and all the diseases and stuff that could, put them in their grave early. And they've made it that far, and you're the one that kills them. I mean, it's disgusting.
Yeah, well, he's currently in the Jackson County Jail without a bond. I guess we'll see how that plays out in court. I also wanted to mention, Dylan, recently, on March 1st, the second annual Florida Man Games took place.
Oh, my gosh.
With returning champions Hanky Spanky securing a second victory.
What does the Florida Man Games consist of?
Oh, man, there's all kinds of stuff. There's, let's see, a new competition involving a, quote, Florida Man baby daddy mannequin. There's a sports bra slingshot competition and a water balloon, which is the challenge that Hanky Panky from St. Augustine won their second belt.
Second championship?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there is some layer of excitement added to the next edition of games as the organizers confirm there's a Florida Man Games TV deal on the horizon. So we will actually, at some point, Dylan, maybe be able to stream and watch the Florida Man Games.
I cannot wait.
Yeah. I mean, there's some pretty interesting stuff here. So we got to talk about this. The winning team, Hanky Spanky, was down by 1 point toward the end of the games, and got the points that won them the game in this new Florida Woman Challenge. The task was to knock out a Florida man, quote, the baby daddy, who is a mannequin, smoking a cigarette by using a sports bra slingshot and water balloon. Christy Donnelly from the team, Hanky Spanky, with her final shot of the night, hit the mannequin in the, quote, nuts, and it fell over, giving them the 3 points they needed to win.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So at the Florida Man Games, you can find teams of Florida men and women competing in events like, quote, evading arrest obstacle course, weaponized pool noodle mud duels, which sounds amazing. I would love to play. I want to participate. I would love to be in a weaponized pool noodle mud duel, a Florida sumo cage match and beer chug, human beer pong, and more. And you can win a $5,000 cash prize. Of course, you get bragging rights and a snakeskin championship belt.
Nice.
This sounds amazing.
Whoever put this together is a pretty good idea.
Yeah, and these are some really great, I mean, whoever dreamed up the games, they're pretty great.
Evading arrest,
Yeah,
obstacle
of
course.
course. Yes.
All right, so thank you for that, Heather.
Dylan, a lot going on in the world.
There is so much going on. And again, if you didn't catch it earlier, fuck Casey Anthony, bro.
Yes, Dylan. Now, let's not say her name again. She's evil. If we speak her name, I'm afraid she might appear like Bloody Mary.
Oh, she's like a trashy Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. She might pop out of the trunk of my car with some pizza boxes.
Yeah, she's like, I want to search how to suffocate a child.
She pops up with some Xanax and is like, hey, I'll babysit your kids.
Yeah.
It's a creepy pasta on its own right there.
There it is.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm finished with midterms and I have a great case we'll be discussing on this week's episode. It's a really disturbing case. I think it'll make a lot of folks pause and wonder about the people in your life. You just never really know who your friends are.
Man, you don't know what people are truly capable of.
Yeah, it's one of those cases. All right, Dylan, it's been great sitting down today, chatting with you. You're so moisturized.
I got to go lotion my body.
You look so delicious right now.
Yeah.
Glistening.
That's right.
You're glistening like a Florida man in the sun.
Get some baby oil.
After he wrestled an alligator.
Get some Diddy oil.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Do we know yet what they did with all that?
It's probably in the evidence locker somewhere.
Well, I just want to know what was they doing with all that baby oil?
Oh, I don't know.
Was they like frying up some Casey Anthony babies or something?
I don't know. Maybe they were just in the slip and slides.
Man, you know what? I would love to have an adult slip and slide.
You would?
Yes, slip and slides were so fun when we were kids. Did you ever partake in the slip and slide?
Yeah, but it's like they were always in a flat yard, you know? You had to go fling yourself down through there.
Well, that's the point.
And it very quickly just got all gross and weird, very low quality.
See, my only complaint with the slip and slide is you would get grass on it. And
Yeah.
that was the thing with my little like kiddie pool. Like I've always been neurotic, but as a little kid, I could not stand grass in the pool, and I would have to pick out every little piece of grass before I could enjoy the pool.
Okay.
And then I would have like my little cousins or something who would just be running and jumping in and then running around the yard, and I'd be like, stop. And I would go get a towel and be like, you have to dry your feet off. And of course they never listened, and they would just get grass in my pool, and then I would spend the whole time like trying to get the grass out of the pool.
So you didn't even get to enjoy it?
No. And it would still bug me today to have grass in my kiddie pool.
Oh.
That's why when I set my kiddie pool up outside, I make sure you don't get grass in it.
Well,
Because you are that kid that probably got grass all in it.
No.
Yeah, you are.
No.
You totally are.
No,
You're probably the kid that got grass all over the slip and slide too.
I can't help that grass is sticking to my fully lotioned body.
All right.
Yeah.
The enemy of the slip and slide.
All right. So until next time, you slip and I'll slide.
Oh, so slippery up in here. Bye.
Bye.